prices, hasn't it? As I said to one or two colleagues, if I'm not going to be on a screen as big as that, I would have had a shave. I'm sure all the bristles. Well, what can I say? I mean, really, I've spoken at many meetings and I've said lots of things. There's problems in all sorts of sectors. We know what's happening in finance. We save in the banks, but not bank workers. That's got to be addressed. The car industry, if we lose the skills and those plants, they'll never come back. In construction, we've got people coming into the country saying that they're not going to employ any UK labour. In the public sector, we've got still concerns about privatisation. We've still got concerns about restrictions on public sector pay, even though inflation's falling. Wherever you look, we appear to have got problems. So I'll tell you what, let's pack up and go. What I'm convinced about is that the answer lies with trade unions, just as it always has for working people. And there's no better union than Unite. And quite frankly, whether you come from the Amicus side or the T&G side, we were the second and third largest union in Britain. We're now, well, UK. We are the biggest union. Sorry, Dave Pentis, but there we are. That's just how it turns out to be. We're the biggest union. But I'm arguing that we're not just the biggest, we are the best. And that's because in all these areas, and many more besides, we actually lead the campaigns. And that's apparent. You've only got to look in the newspapers to see whether it's me or Tony Woodley, or whether it's something local that's happening in our offices, our national offices, or just a name. A spokesman for Unite has got something to say about everything. I'm not sure about the nightingale that's passing wind in Berkeley Square, and somebody says something about that, but Unite's got a credibility and a standing that I actually think causes perhaps some more problems for us than what we need. I ask this question: who wants Unite to succeed? I'm pretty certain that we can put a tick in the no box for employers, because they don't want a big powerful union that can deliver on behalf of its members. I actually put a qualified tick in the no box for government, because we're chasing to repeal anti-union laws, we're chasing for survival packages, whether it's for finance, whether it's for the car industry. We're asking a Labour government to be a socialist government, to be interventional and not allow market forces to crucify our members. And even the TUC, I mean, we are a third of the TUC. If indeed we grow any bigger, why would we want a TUC? So I actually think the TUC looks at Unite and thinks, here's our replacement. So maybe they're not too happy about it. And of course, our competitor unions, the other unions who are in competition with us, maybe they're not too happy as well. So when we see bad news or we see people voicing opinions, it's not hard to understand while there's a degree of envy or concern, whichever it is, about Unite. But that tells us that we're doing the right thing. And the strategy of building a big, strong union, one that can deploy hard to maintain resources now, because the union takes a hit. When members lose their jobs, they don't pay. Obviously, fair enough, that's income down, costs are still going up. We can't afford to waste resources in competition, and that's got to be a sensible thing. And together, Amicus and the T&G have got more political influence than either had separately, so that we can say, and some of the measures now that's coming from government have been advocated by us. In fact, actually, if you track back, whether it's on the Pension Protection Fund, whether it's on the Agency and Temporary Workers Directive, whether it will be on these cases from the ECJ, this union has been the one that's put those arguments into the political arena. And we can do it because we've got power and we've got influence. Not enough to dictate, and maybe we don't want to dictate, but we're able to do that. And then finally, this union, more than any other, has got the sole opportunity to take the agenda of trade unionism into the international arena and develop an international trade union, such that an employee of a company, wherever they are employed in the world, can be a member of the same union. And the sectors in our union, GP, sector is one example. I think finance can be another example. we're already internationally, whether it's with the USW, who we've got the embryonic merger arrangements with, whether it's with the SIU, who's got the international organising agenda, or whether it's with people like IG Metall and the AMW in Germany and the AMWU in Australia, where we've got working agreements with. These are the embryonic signs of an international trade union, so that we can take on the most powerful multinational and look them, as my good comrade Tony Woodley says, look the most powerful employer in the eye and deal with them on that basis. And there's no union in Britain that can do that except ours. That's as clear as the most brilliant daylight to me. This union can do that. And whilst we're taking it, and I'm having to meet good comrades who are saying, and I've met some tonight who've said, I could be redundant tomorrow, I could be out tomorrow, and how do we, you know, where do we go from there? We will take casualties because of the climate, and we sadly will have to take some hits. But for a strategy for the future, for a way forward, this union can deliver it, this union can do it. And I'll tell you this, as I've said, this union can do it only because of people like yourself. Because my old mentor, and I've said this to somebody, so listen again for those I said it to, my old mentor said, it's the shop stewards and reps who are the backbone of the trade union movement, and if they didn't do what they did, we wouldn't have a trade union movement. And you don't do it for money, and you don't do it for fame, and you'll never be rich or well rewarded for being a rep. And your management don't like you because you're a pain in the arse, pardon me vernacular, and the members think, half of them think you've already sold them out, the other half think you're going to sell them out anytime soon, and all of them have collectively agreed that when you come back you've never done enough. So you're the meat in the sandwich, but you do what you do because you've got this inbuilt sense of justice, this inbuilt sense of, as Gordon would say, a moral compass. You don't like to see not only yourself exploited, or the people exploited. You don't like to see people treated badly and abused and harassed and treated in a bad way. You don't like to see people at risk and be injured. And you don't like to see people, when they've worked all their life, having to retire in poverty and can't turn the bloody heater on because they're going to freeze to death because they've got no decent pension and because fuel prices are going through the bleeding roof. And you do that, and you do it not just for yourselves, you do it because you also realise that the jobs that we hold, the older you are, the more you'll realise it, but I hope even the younger ones recognise it, that you hold these jobs in trust because they aren't your jobs. And when we fight for them, we fight not just for ourselves for those jobs, but for the kids and grandkids that follow. And that's the basis of the trade union movement. They'll never wipe us out, and we will succeed, and we will go forward, and I'm prattling on, and I thank you all for coming, and if you want to vote for me, I'll be very appreciated. Thank you very much.